This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by my good friend, top trainer, and probably one of the busiest people in boxing right now, Jamie Moore. Jamie, I know I've been hassling you for a good few weeks now to try and get you on, but you're living a very busy life. All your fighters are flying, activity. But how is everything, mate? You all good?
All good, mate. Yeah. It's just been hectic at the minute, but we're all good, mate. Everyone's healthy, everyone's good, so it's sound.
Well, we'll dive straight into things. Like I said, a lot going on in your gym at the moment. We'll start off with the reason we're here today, Artur Prograis. A bit of a weird day for a media workout. Normally Wednesday is the usual day, but we're still a week out from the fight. Enjoyed it though? Good, really good venue to be doing a public workout, isn't it?
Do you know what? I'm a big believer in like public workouts. Really, from what do you gain? I'm not a big fan of them anyway. Certainly, the further out from the fight, or the weigh-in, I should say, the better, because fighters never really want to do anything on fight week because they're making weight, they're hungry. So this is like a welcome change, really, a bit further out from the fight. And I've been here a few times. I actually came to this museum with my kids and had a walk around with them as well. So round the corner from me, like 15 minutes away from home, so handy for me.
Oh, it's nice, it's 15 minutes away for you. It took me 3 hours to get here today, so... Listen, I'm doing what I love though. I like boxing, so it's all right. Let's talk about this main event. Jack Catterall, your fight against Regis Prograis. Meant to happen back in August, a little injury on Jack's end, but we're only a week out now. He looks ready, raring to go. We saw him in the ring there, looking nice and sharp. What are you expecting from Jack come next Saturday?
A big performance. It's going to have to be because Regis, phenomenal fighter. His track record speaks for itself. 2-time world champion. And he's going to have to be on it. But the reason why we've got this fight, we took this fight, we actually wanted this fight, and we asked for the Prograis fight, was because if Jack wasn't going to get a world title shot, he wanted to be involved in a fight what meant something, and what boxing fans would get the teeth into, and someone who was going to test him, going to push him, bring the best out in him, because Jack's the type of fighter, he'll fight to the level of his opposition. So if he's not in there with somebody who's going to really push him and push him hard, he'll just coast through it, and his boxing brain works in that way where he'll just control it. So we needed someone like Prograis who's going to bring the best out of him, and Eddie's promised him a world title shot after this, so I've no doubt that he's going to deliver it.
Well, you answered my next question on a world title next, so I'm going to move on. Another fighter with a big fight, Cameron Vong versus Gavin Gwynn. I interviewed Gavin a couple of weeks back before Cameron had even fought the Riyadh season card. Before that, actually, what was that whole Riyadh season experience like, fighting on the Wednesday night? Was it a bit of a unique type of experience having a fight on a Wednesday?
It was like they both took the fight on like 4 or 5 days' notice. So we got asked on, I think it was the Thursday or the Friday before, would they box on the Wednesday? It was like, rang Cameron. Cameron was like, no problem at all, as long as they give me a couple of pound, because it was 10 days before he was scheduled to box. As long as they give me a couple of pound extra on the weight, no problem. And then Adam Hamid was actually in, where was he? Morocco on holiday. And I FaceTimed him, he was on a sun lounger, and I was like, they've asked you to box next Wednesday, 4-rounder. He went, against who? And I'm assuming it won't be anyone difficult, because it's like 5 days notice. And he went, what do you think? And I went, I think if you're fit, you've only just boxed. He went, I'm in Morocco, I'm sat in a sun lounge. I was like, it's up to you. And he went, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it, let's go. Booked a flight home and flew straight home. So fair play to them both. But it was good experience, good exposure on the type of fight week it was for them both. And then Cameron's obviously going into this fight now. He's got a little bit more rounds under his belt, which is always a good thing. And again, Gavin Gwynn, brilliant fighter. Track record speaks for itself. It's not an easy fight. That's the reason we've took it. People think we're sleeping on Gavin Gwynn. Far from it. We know how good he is. We've got a lot of respect for him, and that's the reason we've took the fight, because we know that he's going to be the type of fighter who takes Cameron to the point where, he's giving him tough rounds or he's losing rounds, and they're the type of rounds and fights where you learn and improve and get better, and that's been proven over the last couple of fights what Cameron's had. He's boxed those type of opponents, and they've both, he's won the fights and he's won them handily, but he's got lessons on board and learned from it and improved from it, and that's the whole point of it. So I've no doubt he's going to be a really tough fight, and Cameron's going to be dragged into places he's never been dragged to before in a professional boxing ring. But that's the point of it, and they're the lessons I want him to take on board, because I believe he can be a world champion, and if he's going to be, then he's going to come through fights like this and get the lessons on board to stand him in better stead for the future.
Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen. we always know there's a big fight looming for Dave when he's back in the gym with you. And I saw a few clips going around before the fight. I was like, yeah, something big's coming up. I didn't expect this though. I was thinking possibly Fisher, but when you look at the stage that it's going to be on, I interviewed Mark Tibbs, obviously Johnny Fisher's trainer. I spoke to Sam Jones the other day, and when you talk about the stage it's on the world's biggest stage, the biggest card of the year. It doesn't really get much bigger than this, does it?
It doesn't, and I've seen criticism online about Dave taking the fight, and should he be taking it? He's been an absolute stalwart for the game over the last sort of 8 years or whatever, and he's still got enough left in the tank to win a fight at this level, at this magnitude. Johnny Fisher's coming through. He's a top prospect coming through, but he's not got a lot of experience. And I said this to Dave. I said, you're better off getting him now before he gets any better. So, and Dave's dangerous when he's in the gym training, and he has been. He's been active, even though it's been on lower cards, just doing like 4s and 6 rounders. But he's now in a position where he's been given this opportunity. Got asked if he would take the fight. He said, hands down, definitely no problem. Sam Jones sort of got the ball rolling with it and offered him the fight. And then Dave come to me afterwards when the fight was made and said, will you work with me for this fight? And I said, of course I will. I've got a lot of time for Dave. I love him to bits. He's a great guy. And so then I rang Sam Jones and said, guess who's in the opposite corner? And he was like, oh, you're joking. So I'm going to go in the opposite corner to Sam for the first time. But it's all love. It's all sport. We'll shake hands afterwards, but they'll be the enemy for however long it lasts.
Just give me your thoughts on. Just give me your thoughts on the main event quickly. Fury Usyk 2, big rematch. What do you make of it?
Great fight, and I feel like Fury is going to still have enough left and going to be able to adapt enough to win the rematch. I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk picks it up where he left off and Fury struggles to get in there, but I've got a feeling he's going to fight in the way what I felt like he would fight the first time, where he uses his height and reach and his weight better to his advantage than he did the first time. If he does that, I feel like he wins, because Usyk, if you let him control the tempo of a fight, he'll run away with it all day. But if you force him into a scrappier fight where he can use his weight, rough him up on the inside, maybe work his body a bit more, I feel like he can win it.
And then just this past weekend we saw probably the fight of the year in boxing in terms of when you look at where the two men are in their career, in Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. And one thing I've been saying to people is, before the fight, you could ask anyone in boxing and no one quite knew who was going to win. The fight's happened now. We saw how it's played out. And we've not moved one step closer into knowing who would win still in a rematch. What did you make of that main event?
Exactly, and that's the reason why it was such a big fight and nobody could pick a winner, was because everyone anticipated how the fight was going to play out. It played out that way. I felt it could have gone either way. I don't think it was a robbery. I can see people's arguments to say that Bivol won. I can also see the arguments for Beterbiev to win. So no controversy from my side. I think, could it have been a draw? Of course. It was that type of fight. It was really close. And let's watch it again.
Obviously, just another fight in the heavyweight division. A man that Dave tried to target, I think, last year, Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. We saw the 12 rounds they shared back in March. Round 13, and it was obviously the final round as well. Pure destruction for Fabio Wardley, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was scary to see, and thank God Big Fraser's all right, but yeah, he's got to be the most improved fighter, or one of the most improved fighters, Fabio Wardley, over the last couple of years. Really impressed with how much he's come on, and he's always been a puncher, but the technique with it and his ring craft, he's getting experience under his belt. That 12 rounds under his belt against Fraser will have done him the world of good, and standing him in better stead for the long run. But he's really coming on.
And just last one, back on Bivol quickly.
It's the third last one.
I've not said last one once, have I?
Third time.
Flipping out, I didn't even realise, mate. Okay, last one now, this time. Rematch between Beterbiev and Bivol. Who wins and how?
I'm going to give you the same answer as I gave you before the first fight. Like, it really is one of those fights where you really don't know, and the rounds are going to be so close that there's always going to be that controversy, because there's such good fighters. They keep adapting every time, every round. When one person gets a foothold, the other person finds a way to get around it and get a foothold themselves. So I really can't pick it. The only factor I believe will play a part, or could play a part, is age. is Beterbiev going to get to that point where he goes old overnight? You know, and hard fights like he had last week don't do you any favours at that stage. So maybe that's going to be a factor. But other than that, I just really can't split him.
And last one now. No, I'm joking. No more last ones. Jamie, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you next week on Fight Week. Perfect.